Secretary General of Hezbollah Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah said it is the responsibility of everybody to work for conducting political dialogue in Syria, stressing that those who are hindering this dialogue are the ones to blame for bloodshed in Syria. Speaking during the 23rd university graduation ceremony in Beirut, Nasrallah said it is the armed opposition and the regional countries supporting it which refuse to engage in dialogue, which means the continuation of the killing, violence, destruction and bloodshed, affirming that what some media outlets portray on the collapse of Damascus and the near fall of the Syrian state is incorrect. Russian ambassador in Beirut, Alexander Zasitkin, reiterated his country's firm stance towards Syria, calling for reaching a peaceful solution for the crisis there based on the Geneva Statement, without preconditions that hinder dialogue as the only solution to the crisis in Syria. The people of Al-Sabil neighborhood in Aleppo held a rally in support of the Syrian Arab Army. Hundreds of residents protested against the criminal practices committed by the terrorist groups. The participants denounced these groups' repeated attacks against citizens' properties and the infrastructure. Al-Sabil neighborhood residents called on the Syrian Arab Army to speed up their operations for eliminating foreign-backed militants in order to restore security and normal life to all areas in Aleppo and its countryside. In Homs countryside, a Syrian Arab Army unit confronted an attack by armed terrorist groups that opened gunfire from inside the Lebanese territories at the crossing of Al-Dabbusiya and the border checkpoints at the Syrian side in Ma'rabo and Al-Mathoume areas in Tel Kalakh. Army units inflicted heavy losses on the armed men, injuring a number of them and forcing others to flee away into the Lebanese territories. In Damascus countryside, a Syrian Arab Army unit clashed with members of an armed terrorist group in Zamalka and eastern Al-Ghouta, destroying their weapons and ammunition. The clashes resulted in killing and injuring many terrorists. Terrorists' vehicles used for transferring weapons and ammunition were destroyed during the clashes. Prime Minister Dr. Wael al-Halaqi met Secretary General of the Syrian National Party and members of its political office and representatives in the People's Assembly. The Prime Minister asserted that Syria continued its efforts to end terrorism and to put an end to the crimes of the armed terrorists. He expressed appreciation of the steadfastness and sacrifices of the Syrian Arab Army. He also asserted that Syria remained responsive to all initiatives to end the crisis through dialogue and peaceful means. Al-Halaqi called attention to the government's efforts to supply the necessary needs and humanitarian assistance to all citizens, particularly to the suffering families. The Minister of Education, Dr. Hazwan Al-Waz, stressed the necessity of supporting the projects with the UNESCO and the team of the National Committee. During a meeting with members of the National Committee for Education, Science and Culture, he indicated that the ministry seeks to achieve the highest rate in school enrollment. Dr. Al-Waz expressed his appreciation of the broad prospects of cooperation with the UNESCO in various fields. In turn, the National Committee's Secretary of the UNESCO, Dr. Nidal Hassan, presented a representation of the National Committee's activities in the year 2005 till year 2012, in addition to the events undertaken by the committee during the past 6 months and events which are to be held with the UNESCO. Minister of Social Affairs and Labor Dr. Jassim Mohammed Zakaria and UN Secretary General's Special Representative for Children and Armed Conflict, Leila Zerougi, reviewed the efforts made by the Higher Commission for Relief to reduce the suffering of the citizens affected because of the unrest and deliver the humanitarian aid to all families. Zakaria said that the children of affected families were enrolled in schools near their temporary shelters and provided with all requirements to continue their studies. He added that the Higher Commission for Relief provides support to all civil associations working in the relief field in order to help them carry out their duty in delivering aid to the affected families inside and outside the temporary shelters.